What is going on here? In just the span of a couple weeks, people have been caught eating live and raw animals.
Yo, she's eating raw chicken. Oh, what the What the
Is the blue cat over there still here?
I don't know.
Oh,
Is that good?
what?
Does that taste good?
Tastes delicious.
It's delicious?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What the
So somebody sent me that video and I said to myself, well, maybe that's just somebody who's not mentally well. I mean, they're asking about a blue cat. But then I saw this.
So I'm live right now on Drake. This girl, I was just passing and I seen that she was gutting a deer, a baby deer, doing something with it. She literally is, I had to call 911. She is singing, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone, and degutting and just doing all kinds of crazy shit, nitpicking with it, slicing it open, taking pieces out. Isn't this crazy? And I told 911 she may have, medical problems. Obviously, she's doing something with it. I just can't believe this is what I'm seeing. Why would you pick a baby deer? And she's literally, I don't know, I haven't seen her eat any of it or anything yet. And she's playing with it, putting its eyes back in and doing all kinds of different This is crazy.
Bro, what the
It's a deer.
She eating it, bro.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you eating that? Hey.
They ain't gonna ask you, man. That motherfucker shut the door, man, before she come bite you. Then you will. Yeah, you heard dude said you.
Now, technically, we don't see her eat it on camera. And who knows, right? Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. We don't know what she was doing beforehand. But now news has come out that the Milwaukee Police and Health Department are reviewing a photo appearing to show a man eating a live rabbit. He was eating it as he was walking down the sidewalk, and authorities are saying it's possible no crime occurred, that he obtained the rabbit legally, but it's still disturbing nonetheless. Some are saying that this could lead to a zombie apocalypse or a new pandemic. Others are still saying mental health. You have others that are also saying demonic possession, which is interesting because I saw this clip of a woman opening up raw chicken at a supermarket and eating it, but come to find out that this was a movie back in 2014 called Devil's Due, where a woman becomes possessed and she starts eating raw meat.
75,000 files of children and babies being abused, and he says he's not going to stop, and the court lets him walk free, and the reason will enrage you, as will the judge. The man behind me is 82-year-old Louis Rumis, and Louis was found with over 75,000 files of CSAM that included babies as young as 6 months old. Police first raided his home back in April of 2024, seized laptops, phones, SD cards, hard drives, and other devices so packed with this stuff that officers eventually stopped counting. Even after that raid, while he was out on bail, he kept downloading more, later telling police that he enjoyed looking at the images and basically he wasn't going to stop, and he admitted it, not even a guilty plea. This was a sustained, deliberate habit built on the suffering of children whose abuse has been recorded, shared, and replayed for his gratification. At Southampton Crown Court, Judge Nigel Peters, let me show you this guy. This is Judge Nigel Peters, KC, and he gave Rumis an 18-month prison sentence and then fully suspended it, explicitly saying the only reasons for the suspension were his age and his guilty plea. Oh, and a fun fact here about Judge Nigel Peters, KC, he once told a 13-year-old girl that she was the predatory one after being the victim of a child abuser. Yes, really. So for tens of thousands of images of children and babies being abused and tortured, the consequences: go home, do some rehabilitation days, and hope that you don't reoffend. At 82, even though he says that he's not going to stop. And all of this is because he's quote-unquote too old for prison.
That video came from Just in the Nick of Crime, and something's telling me it has nothing to do, of course, with the man's age or him pleading guilty, but who he and the judge are connected to. I bet if you go deep down the rabbit hole when it comes to this judge, you will find, I bet he's linked to some free peoples. Freemasons, probably the Royal Order of the Jesters, because this is screaming that this goes higher up the food chain.
If you think the dead internet theory is as scary as I do, you need to watch this video because that is so real and it's insane. So this is a video, it's about the woman who walked into the water with the 2 dead fish, but just watch this, it's crazy.
Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. In addition to that,
she turns around, she's
2 dead fish in her.
Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was. Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. In addition,
there was a video.
As soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that.
There was a video.
The woman. So there's currently a video that's going viral, and
this is only going to get worse and worse and worse. I remember these bots were just posting things, but now there are faces behind entire videos, and you don't know who is real and who's not. That video came from Real Ben.
On March 11th of 2026, a father living in Florida would call the police on his ex-wife. And this would not be the first time he had reported her for harassment. You see, he had already moved on and found a new partner. However, he still shared custody of his kids with his ex-wife. And he explains to the officer that the harassment had been getting worse, and that the night prior he had received over 17 calls and 9 voicemails around 2 a.m. in the morning. These were all from his ex-wife, and they were not only deeply disturbing to him, but to the officer as well.
You heard wanted to get myself in help.
Yeah.
Right?
So 144 was when she started leaving voicemails?
This will, I believe, have been, yes, that's the first voicemail. These previous 2 did not.
Okay.
47.
You very bad, and you want everybody to stand for your love. You saw that. You're alive. You're alive. You're alive.
You were with her for many years. You're positive that is her voice?
Yes.
Okay.
You can see as the officer documents these voicemails for her body cam that even she is surprised that these are completely unaltered in any way. But perhaps the most disturbing part is that they only seem to get worse as he continues to play them.
I hope she gets some help from this. I hope that this leads to a good resolution because it's my kids. You know, this is their mom. It's scary. It's 150. 152. This is 154. And that will have been the last voicemail.
After checking her phone, the police noticed that she had deleted communications between her and her ex-husband from the night before, and based on all available evidence, they arrested her under the Florida statute of stalking.
That video came from Real Horror Talk, and I really hope that type of love never finds me. And I also get it, right? Going back to the first segment, people can suffer from mental health issues, but I do also believe that there are people out there that have such a darkness in them, it just can't help but come out, and you get things like this.
We have an interesting sky sighting coming out of Lincoln, Illinois, captured by a man named DJ. He was outside a gas station when he noticed something particular in the skies, and he claims it to be caused by aliens. Now, these specific type of clouds are coined as UFO clouds, but it looks like something out of a movie, out of a sci-fi movie. Like, think Independence Day, right before the aliens came in and invaded, how those mushroom clouds all of a sudden appeared. It really does look creepy. Take a look at this phenomenon. Comment below. Let us know what you think.
That video came from the paranormal chick, and I was instantly reminded of the movie Nope, but more than likely it has less to do about aliens, and even scarier, it has more to do with them putting things in the skies, cloud seeding, and things like that. Like, for example, take a look at this clip I saw off of Matrika's channel.
What in the hell even is that?
This is unreal.
I've seen a tornado do that.
The bottom of the tornado is swirling around the top part of the tornado. And is that a second and a third funnel right here?
Yeah.
What?
Moving due north.
This tornado has tentacles.
It's coming back down.
It is. And there's something going right next to it. Oh. Yeah, it's stretching out. It's moving north.
What?
You know, I've never seen that before either. Don't you all think it's even the slightest bit suspicious how common these rare weather events have become?
So imagine on Christmas Eve night, you get an alert to your phone saying there's movement next to your Christmas tree, and you're thinking, oh, it's my kids sneaking downstairs, and instead it's this. Yeah, That's exactly what happened here, and that's a present that thing's sitting on. A very eerie apparition is sitting on top of their daughter's Barbie house. And if you look close enough, it looks like it has a really wide, big smile. And it looks like it's holding something. Now, as eerie as this is, this could simply be a spirit celebrating Christmas with this family. Maybe it's even holding a gift that it got one year. Or maybe there's some sort of significance to it and Christmas Day. Here it is enhanced, and it almost looks like it's holding a cat. So this didn't catch one, but two spirits. A humanoid apparition and a cat. So even though it looks creepy as fuck, it's also kind of heartwarming. What do you...
That video came from Whoa That's Strange, and the reason why I used her video clip, what I'm looking at here, kind of reminds me of those static entities, those static beings that I spoke about a couple times on this channel, that cryptid. But also, if you look really good, it looks like there's another entity behind it, one made of shadow.
The Department of War just released a brand new UAP file that accidentally makes David Grush's sentient plasmoid comment a whole lot more interesting. So in the file FBI UAP PR004, a witness reported observing a glowing orb. It's not so much the object itself that stands out, although very cool. It's really how they describe the inside of it. So according to the report, the interior looked like a white plasma sun. Now, this is where the timing gets interesting, because just a few days earlier, David Grush stated that the government is aware of what he called sentient plasmoid life. He described a possible biological continuum that could include plasma-based forms of intelligence. Now, I'm not saying these two things are directly connected. I mean, they very well may not be. But you've got one witness in a federal UAP file that independently describes the inside of an unidentified object as plasma, and just days earlier, we've got David Grush using the phrase sentient plasmoid life. Different context, same unusual descriptor though. Coincidence?
That great video came from Hallucination Hippies, and let's not forget either that it came out that scientists, plasma scientists, were creating these plasmoids in a lab using something very similar to the Large Hadron Collider. They know exactly what they are, and now for whatever reason, they're releasing them more and more. I've been seeing quite a few of these above my city as well, which is, again, is interesting. My city is one of the 2 in Florida that has a nuclear plasma power plant. When all those mysterious drones were being seen all over the skies, probably the distraction, another thing people were seeing were these orbs.
Imagine living next to this and having to hear this constant ringing.
So Hari, we're at your front door.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look in the distance, and there it is.
There it is. It's right there in all its glory.
There it is, the Vantage Data Center, standing tall with its blue walls and massive generators right next to this Sterling, Virginia neighborhood.
What did you think when they first turned it on?
Well, we were told in the beginning that it's just they test the generators to make sure they're working in case of an emergency. That is what we were told in the beginning. And then as the year and the months have gone on,
They just never turned off?
They're just never turned off.
Hari says they told them the generators were just temporary. But that was more than a year ago. The massive data center was never hooked up to the power grid, so the generators are the only source of electricity.
You just hear this noise, it's just like, you just want to curse, you know, it's that bad.
Greg Pirio also lives right next door.
Our concern is property values. Unless we can mitigate this, and we're talking about lawyers with options of what we can do and all that, you know, we know that we're not going to get the values for our homes that we could have gotten before.
It's about more than money, it's quality of life. One neighbor here even put plexiglass up against the window to block the noise. And they have their own sound meters to monitor the noise.
This is a dashboard that some of my neighbors set up.
Virginia is the data center epicenter of the world. There are hundreds of them, consuming more than 25% of the state's power, driving up electric bills.
They can build their own power plants as part of their factory, so that no one's prices will go up, and in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down.
President Trump's plan to keep the data centers off the power grid is good for keeping electric rates down, and there are positives with data centers. They create jobs when they're built, they create local tax revenue, which helps schools, it can help lower property taxes, and they're pretty much inevitable with the way we use technology these days, arguably becoming essential infrastructure. The neighbors here don't disagree, and they don't hate all data centers, but think they shouldn't be so close to neighborhoods.
What would you say to people in other parts of the country where they hear, oh, a data center's considering coming?
Do everything in your power to try to stop it from being built in an area that has any residential properties within, 10 to 15 miles of it.
They always say the upside or the positive is that it brings jobs, but I don't know anybody working for a data center saying they're working for a data center. And if they are, it's probably few and in between, very few jobs for these data centers. These poor people are in a nightmare. Who's going to buy these homes so they can move? I mean, who wants to be right next to one of these massive data centers producing that kind of noise?
So I'm not sure if you saw this. At the World Cup opening event, there's the map of the United States with the sideways letter A. And it was the opening ceremony, a bunch of different musical performances over the weekend. And this, I'm telling you, this is really interesting symbolism. I don't listen to mainstream pop music, but there's a guy named Future and then Tyla. I don't even know who they are. But when they start singing and they're saying, there ain't no stopping it, there ain't no stopping it, you see the letter getting rolled out and spread over the United States. And there's all this symbolism with World Cup or Olympics. There's always these weird ceremonies that happen. And I need to show you what is going on here because there's something occult that just means hidden, but there's a lot of hidden symbolism and ceremony and weird stuff that goes on. Because again, what are the odds of them drawing the letter A like this over the United States? It's almost exactly positioned where it needs to be. This was the solar eclipse omen the United States saw from 2017 to 2024. And I've written obviously about this extensively. Let me just show you what we're talking about. If you go back in history to the days of the prophet Jonah, it just so happens that this 7-year eclipse pattern was also present during the Assyrian Empire right here in purple. Ancient Assyria saw the same triple eclipse omen, just like the United States has in these last days. As you can see, There's the triple solar eclipse omen. Here's just a chart with the years of mankind. I show you how that all works in the book, but it's amazing that, yes, America has now seen what historically was the sign of Jonah. This is extremely important for walking into the future wisely, guys. Bible Prophecy Secrets. Grab your copy in the TikTok shop. We are the generation of the end. The top levels of the ruling class understand what's about to happen, and God has shown us a sign, and you need to be able to discern what it's all about in order to walk wisely.
That video came from Abraham Ojeda, and the World Cup is just full of symbolism. Just take a look at the very first image they had shown us during the opening. But yeah, going back to this, the excuse will be these are the initials for Los Angeles because that's where this took place. LA, but any way you look at it, it looks like the L is backwards. And it does eerily look like the 3 solar eclipses going across the United States, 2017, 2023, and 2024, which did indeed form the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. I'll always find the 2024 solar eclipse to be extremely strange.
The most disturbing part about the Elisa Lam case is not the skepticism about the hotel being haunted, or that something had possessed her, or that she was being chased by something we can't see. It's the fact that people were literally drinking her. I used to believe all of the theories when the videos first came out, but after watching this documentary about the case, I truly just believe that this was someone suffering from an extreme mental health crisis. And I'm more sad for her than I am scared about the situation, even though the footage of her in the elevator is very eerie. But the most horrific part is that her body had sat so long in that water tank that the people staying at the Cecil were actually consuming her. I never really hear anyone mentioning that aspect of it because everyone is just so focused on what led up to the moment she ended up in the water tank. So the disturbing things about Elisa's case is that, for one, this poor girl climbed into a water tank and was unable to get back out, and it really just stirs something up in me when I imagine what that desperation must have felt like and wonder how long she waited there helplessly before ultimately passing away. And secondly, people who had no involvement in any of this were unknowingly subjected to drinking the same water that she floated in for nearly a month.
That video came from Oddities on Elm Street, and yeah, one of the more disturbing parts of the whole Elisa Lam case is that she was found in a water tank and people were drinking her water. But what's also a crazy coincidence is that around the same time she disappeared, there was an outbreak of TB along Skid Row right next to this hotel. And the test they used to test these people for TB just happened to be called Lam Elisa. The video comes from Rhea Reacts. The audio is kind of poor, but that's my fault. I had to remove the background music, but this still makes you think about Mandela effects.
The big joke in this film was that she had braces. Yeah. So Jules, the man with the metal teeth, smiles at her. She smiles at her. She's got metal teeth. Now she doesn't have braces. That joke's gone. It's going to change. That's reality. They have technology to change the past.
You remember the scene, but something is missing. In Moonraker, everybody appears to remember the same thing. When she smiles back at Jaws, she's wearing braces, except they're not really there. Same thing. And in Forrest Gump, it's not. Life is like a box of chocolates. It's
life was like a box of chocolates.
And it's crazy because collectively, everyone remembers what was said. So when they look it up and realise it's been erased almost, so what else do you remember that isn't there anymore?
Now, I myself never seen the movie Moonraker, but it just makes a lot of sense. That would be the punchline. That when the man with the metal teeth is smiling at Dolly, Dolly smiles back with metal braces. Even though the actress has come out and said that she has never wore braces for this scene, it just feels weird. It feels off.
UFOs appearing in 700-year-old manuscripts, mate. Is this actually alien ships or one of humanity's biggest cover-ups? Let's check it out. First up, a 12th century manuscript describing a real event from 776 CE. During a siege on a Saxon castle, witnesses saw flaming, shield-like discs hovering in the sky. The objects appeared to start hovering over the top of the church, and the encounter terrified the attackers into immediate retreat. Now, historians say it could be meteors, but the descriptions sound awfully like modern UFO battles that we've heard throughout history. What do you think? Coincidence or a cover-up? Now let's jump to the 19th century Japan. There's an 1825 book retelling the legend of Utsurobun, or Hollow Ship. Fishermen found a round metallic vessel washing ashore, with a beautiful woman inside who spoke an unknown language and clutched a strange box. And there were unknown symbols inscribed inside the vessel itself. The woman wore fine clothes, spoke an unknown language, and clutched a plain wooden box she wouldn't let anybody touch. The vessel contained food, water, and decorated interiors, but no oars or sails. Then, unable to communicate with her specifically, the locals eventually put her back in the vessel and pushed her back out to sea, where she vanished off into the horizon. Now let's jump to the 17th century, Transylvania, a church fresco titled, Israel, Put Your Hope in the Lord. It shows a domed saucer-like object hovering over a fiery building. Trailing smoke like exhausts, local call it a symbol of divine protection, but UFO hunters see a classic flying saucer. Now this was found painted in a remote Romanian church. Why include this if this wasn't based on something I witnessed? The mystery deepens. Finally, the late 15th century St. Jeremiah's Contemplation, from the Urbinate Bible in the Vatican Museum. St. Jeremiah meditates amid mountains and towns, but in the sky, a glowing round object shoots a straight yellow beam like laser down to Earth. Religious visions or captured UFO tech. Now this Renaissance miniature blends the mystic and the mundane, leaving us to ask, were artists encoding alien sightings for future generations to behold? You let me know down below.
What these ancient people had seen and drawn is just more proof that these things are not aliens, but it's something that has always been here. That video came from the Interstellar Discussion.
I've heard of the Bermuda Triangle, but have you heard of the Bennington Triangle? The Bennington Triangle was a phrase coined by American author Joseph A. Citro. Between 1945 and 1950, several people went missing in this area. The area is in the Glastonbury Mountain. I probably said that wrong, correct me down in the comments, but it would include the towns of Bennington, Woodford, Shaftesbury, and Somerset. I do not have a picture of the first person who went missing, but that was Mitty Rivers, who was 74 when he went missing on November 12th of 1945. Mitty was an avid outdoorsman. He was frequently outdoors and he knew how to carry himself in the wilderness. He was last seen on Vermont Route 9 near Woodruff Rivers. Around 4 p.m. on November 4th of 1945, Mitty was last seen by a friend near the trail that he was walking, and then he failed to come home that night. Several searches were done of the area, but nothing was found until the next spring when a hiker found his handkerchief, but he just simply vanished. Paula Weldon would be the next person who went missing, and she disappeared on December 1st of 1946, and she was just 18 years old. Paula was a sophomore at the Bennington College. She left campus early that afternoon and was going to walk that same trail that Mitty was last seen on. Paula was seen by several people. Several people gave her directions, and she encountered many people. She was seen wearing a red jacket, jeans, and lightweight sneakers, but she was not carrying any camping gear. She did not plan to stay, according to the people who saw her. But the next day, Paula didn't show up to classes, and so an extensive search followed, and they found nothing. The FBI even became involved, and there was a $5,000 reward for her return, but she just simply vanished. The next person to go missing was a man named James Tedford. He disappeared on December 1st of 1949, so 3 days exactly after Paula went missing. James was a resident of the Vermont Soldiers' Home in Bennington. He had been visiting St. Albans, visiting relatives, and they had accompanied him to the local bus stop and watched him get on the bus back to Bennington. At about 6:15 that evening, he was seen having a conversation with an acquaintance of his in Burlington. This is the last confirmed sighting of him. The bus driver would later tell police that he thought that a man who looked like James might have got off the bus in the village of Brandon, about 70 miles north of Bennington. That same night, Brandon police investigated a man who was acting strangely in the village's downtown, but it would take an entire week for James to be reported missing. The superintendent of the home that he was staying at would report him missing on December 8th. Later news reports would indicate that James was mentally ill at the time of his disappearance, and his family did come forward and say that he was not very happy about returning to Bennington. But it also seems as if he vanished into thin air because nothing was ever found of him. Paul Jepson would be the next person to go missing, and he went missing on October 12th of 1950. Paul was going with his mother to do some errands and do some chores. They had a herd of pigs near the Bennington Town dump. They arrived at the dump at about 3:30 that afternoon, and she left Paul in the car while she went and tended to the pigs. When she came back 30 minutes later, Paul was gone. A search party was again arranged, and this time they had bloodhounds to come and track Paul's scent. The bloodhound would track his scent along an adjacent road to an intersection where the scent ended. Police believed that the rain washed away his scent, while his father believes that maybe somebody struck him and then hid the body. Other people speculate that the police didn't search enough because he might have been in the wooded area surrounding, which was not searched. Frida Langer is another person who went missing in this area, but her case is pretty much solved. But on October 28th of 1950, just 16 days after Paul went missing, Frida went with her husband on a hike. This was something that she did frequently. She was an avid hiker, hunter, she was very, very well versed in the outdoors world. This was not unusual for her to go hiking. But somewhere along the hike, she slipped and fell into the creek and told her husband that she was going to take a shortcut back to their cabin so that she could get changed. But when she didn't come back, her husband became worried and a search party went out looking for her. Frida did suffer from a seizure disorder, and her husband was worried that the cold had triggered a seizure and that she was lost somewhere in the woods. On May 12th of 1951, a fisherman found her body 3.5 miles southeast from the campsite. No cause of death was determined, but police theorized that she had fallen down an embankment and had drowned in the deep pond, and that then her body was flushed out months later. But all of these disappearances have led people to believe that maybe something more mysterious is going on in this area. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that there's something strange going on, or is it all just a coincidence? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and follow for more spooky things.
That creepy video comes from Amanda Thomas, and it just goes to show that there are so many creepy places in this world that have so much history attached to them. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.